Aloha from Samoa, everybody. You guys doing good? So we're in Pongo. We're in Pongo Pongo, and you can see a little bit behind me. We'll probably be here through next Monday or Tuesday because there's a storm that's going south of us, so the winds are going to be dying down, so we're going to wait until that goes by. So we've been working really hard to get the canoe ready to go. So last week, we put probably 1,000 pounds of food on each of the 2 canoes, and we loaded probably 350 gallons of water on each of the 2 canoes, and we got some of the other did some other repairs. And let's see, the rest of our crew came in Monday night, so they've been setting up their areas. They've been taking care of their kuleana, their responsibilities like the safety, like our rescue boards. We've been unpacking things. Our doctor has been going through all the medical kits, so we're pretty much ready to go. We're just waiting for the right winds. In the meantime, I know I sent a couple pictures. I sent a picture of the school. We went to different schools to talk about what we're doing in Malama Honua and about navigation. We had lots of people come to the canoes, so we took them around, let them see. And one day, when all the work was done, I got to go to the beach and go swim, so that was really nice. Let's see. Otherwise, it's a nice sunny day here in Pongo Pongo. The weather's just like home, so it's a little bit humid. We have a nice breeze right now, so it's not too bad. Last night we watched the eclipse, so hopefully you guys did too, even though it's probably past your bedtimes. Other than that, I think that's the end of a report for us. So you can go ahead, let's ask some questions and see what you guys come up with.
Okay, that's a question. Can you stand up? Your name. What is your first name? Okay, next amount. Okay, stand up.
I'm Jonah.
Hi, Jonah.
How's the food?
How's the food? Well, we've been eating some of our canoe food. So we have one of the people that had been here last week was one of ours. So she, that was really good to have her. And then we had our other cook come in Monday night. So we've been eating like salmon patties and spaghetti and ramen. There is a McDonald's that's close to where we are, but trying not to go there too much. Let's see. There's not as much fresh produce as we would get at home, so I've been eating like a lot of canned fruits, things like that. Just trying to stay healthy so that when we're ready to go, we're ready. Jonah, are you being good?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Who has another question? Okay, stand up.
Thank you. I'm Maya. How many degrees is it in Samoa?
It's like home, probably 80 to 87 degrees. It's pretty warm. In the middle of the day, it's real hot. It's really humid. But like I said, today we got a nice breeze, so it helps us out, especially because we're outside on the canoe. Thanks, Maya.
I'm Carson. So my question is, has anybody gotten sick yet?
Hi, Carson. Sure you only have one question? Well, we've had people get, a little bit sick or just get kind of tired out. Like, I wasn't feeling too good yesterday, but I feel way better today. So, again, we're trying to all stay healthy. Earlier on with the previous leg, there were some people with food poisoning, but everybody's healthy so far, so we're trying to keep it that way. Thank you, Carson.
My name is Andrew. My question is, how much other people are there on the voyage?
Can you repeat that one, Andrew?
How many people are there on the voyage?
Okay, thanks, Andrew. On Hikianalia, there's going to be 6 crew, and on Hokulea, there will be 15. But on each canoe, we have a person that's with us until Tonga, and then they'll get off. So then we'll be 14 and 14. What do I? 15 and 14, yeah. So that will be one less when we go from Tonga down to New Zealand.
My name's JP.
Did you ever have to prepare the boat?
Can one of the teachers in the room, please repeat his question so Kat can hear him?
Sure. The question is, have they had to repair the boat?
Nothing major, just minor things like tying off the ends of lines. There was one shackle, one clip up in the front for one of the lines for the sail that we had to retie, but the canoe is in pretty good shape. Both of them are, so it really isn't too many major repairs to do. Just basically getting it ready, getting all the equipment and the supplies loaded so that when the wind's good that we can go.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
I'm Aaliyah. And when are you coming home?
There we are, okay. Okay, Aaliyah. Why, Aaliyah, do you miss me?
Yeah.
Aaliyah, I'm coming home after Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving vacation, I'll be back in school.
Okay.
You'll be so busy you won't miss me.
I'm Ryan, and what kinds of food are restricted from being brought on the cruise ship?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
What kinds of food are restricted from being brought on the boats?
Oh. Well, when we leave someplace, we'll bring fresh produce, but usually we go to it, like from Samoa, we'll load on fresh produce just for the trip to Tonga. But before we get to Tonga, we actually have to get rid of anything fresh because of, whatever bugs that or that might be, or pests or whatever that might be on the fresh food. So, not that they're restricted from being on the boat, but they'll be restricted from going to other places. We were kind of surprised because one of our crew members he's from Molokai, he's on Hokulea, and he brought in like dried venison, so dried deer meat, and dried seafoods, and we didn't think that the customs in Samoa would let that come in, but we were lucky and it got through, so we've had some extra special treats. But mostly we can have just about any kind of food that we want on the canoe.
My name is Dane, and have you seen any exotic animals?
Any animals? Well, there's some fish that we've seen, jumping in harbor. We haven't been out sailing yet. We'll probably go out sailing Saturday just to do some training before we leave next week. There are a lot of birds. There are some that are the same birds that we have at home. So like what we call a noil bird, they have here. I saw a kolea the other day. Just about every day you'll see Eva birds flying over. But probably the coolest thing is at night we can see there's flying foxes. It's like bats, and then they hang in the trees on the mountains next to where we are, and so they start flying out. They're pretty big, so it's kind of cool to see the bats. But that's about all we've seen with the wildlife. But I'll let you know more next week. Hopefully we'll be sailing.
I'm Malia. Do you have to bring your passport everywhere?
Well, we have to bring it when we come on the plane and we enter the country, but other than that, you don't have to carry it everywhere you go. So we try to keep it someplace safe, just so we can get into the next country, okay? So how many of you guys wish you were here?
And what is the prettiest thing you've seen so far?
What's that?
What? Oh, okay.
What was the prettiest thing? What was?
Yes.
I missed the question. What is the what thing?
What is the prettiest thing you've seen so far?
Oh, okay. I think the prettiest thing I've seen so far is one afternoon. We've been working and we're really hot, so we went to one of the beaches and went swimming. And so we were out there like as the sun set. So that was really nice because it's beautiful, you know, gold colors and orange in the sky. And the people I were swimming with, we told each other we're not getting out till the sun goes down. So, you know, we swam and you have reflections of the water of all the colors. That was really pretty. And then last night with the full moon, it rose right above the mountain. And there was a little bit of clouds, so it was all misty and big and bright. So that was really nice too. But it's a Pongo Pongo, the island Tutuila it is a really nice island, really green. You know, lots of trees everywhere, lots of birds. So the whole island is really pretty. Hopefully in the next week we get to see a little bit more of it than just the city of Pongo Pongo.
A couple more questions.
Okay.
What are you guys doing? There's no wind.
Well, when there's no wind, we do what we're doing now, which is wait. So we keep track of the weather so that we make sure that we're sailing when there is the right kinds of weather and there is good wind for us to go. So, like if we have left, we were hoping we would leave yesterday, but we really couldn't. So if we had, we would be out in the middle of the ocean bobbing around because there wouldn't be any wind. If there is no wind when we're out sailing, then we try to keep track of how far we're drifting so that we make sure that we know we're in a wind. We go out there and we blow really hard in the sails. Hopefully that works.
Kiana. So.
Hi, Kiana.
Hi. What do you do, like, when you're not, on the, well, you're on the boat, but what are you doing, like, what in your spare time? Like,
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to have spare time, but usually in your spare time, because you're working on watches, so you have a 4-hour work shift and then 8 hours off and then 4 more hours. So in the 8 hours, like, you make sure you get enough rest. People bring books, people have their iPods, sometimes people have cards, we play cards, or if we have people who play music and they'll sing, or we'll all sing. We have some songs and some chants that we have to learn so that when we go to Tonga and New Zealand that we can do them, so we need to practice those. Or we just sit around, talk story with each other. Probably be studying navigation, doing a little bit of studying of that. So, there's lots of stuff to do. Look at birds, catch fish.
We have about 5 more minutes. Ms. Fuller, the navigator on board Hikeanalea for this leg, does anyone have any questions about navigation?
Questions about navigation, how she's going to get there to Tonga? Some Samoa guys? Okay, go ahead. Head up. Okay, nice and loud. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, we have a question.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
What star do you use to navigate? Or mine is David. Yeah.
My favorite star?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
How do you use
one
it?
of the constellations that's okay. Well, we're going kind of our direction is going to be southwest. So some of the stars that will be close to, well, almost directly in front of us will be like Scorpio. So I know that's something you guys are familiar with. So that will be setting. So it'll be going down. Another constellation that will be rising in the middle of the night will be Orion. So so a lot of it's the same. We were out last night looking at like Sagittarius and Capricorn. There's a great square of Pegasus that's above us. So we're going to be using a lot of different stars. So even though we may have favorites, sometimes you can't always see them. But yeah, I guess my favorite, if I had to choose, I would use Scorpio. So it's nice that that's going to be out.
Okay, any other questions about navigation?
I'll let you know once we get going what we really see.
Hi, Ms. Fuller. I'm Kavai. My question about navigation is
Hi,
that...
Kavai. How's your arm?
Oh, it's feeling better.
Okay, what's
Oh, okay.
Question is that does the clouds help you more, or does it is it harder for you?
Good question.
Good question. Okay. The clouds can help and they can be hard. If we have trade winds that are steady winds from one direction, so down here, the east to southeast, when we have trade winds, there are usually clouds that come with those winds, and as long as we see those kinds of clouds, they're kind of flat on the bottom and then puffy on the top, we can use those, to give us a kind of direction. But at night, sometimes the clouds make it really hard because they block the stars, so then you really have to know what's in the sky. Just kind of seeing one star at a time. So they can both help you and they can hurt you. Some islands that we go to, there's like a big lagoon, and it's shallow, and the water is kind of greenish, and so you'll see that reflection on the bottom side of the cloud. So that's another way that sometimes clouds can help. Thanks, Kavai. When do you get your cast off?
I don't know.
Any more questions about navigation?
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, loud, yeah? The question is, in the day, how do you navigate since there's no stars?
Oh, okay. So we can, just like I said, why we can use wind and some clouds if it's, a consistent wind. One thing that we've been studying is measuring, where the sun rises and sets, but also as it goes through the sky, what direction is it in? We have what we call the star compass. So that's broken down into 32 separate directions. And so as the sun rises and it sets, it moves through those 32 different sections. So we measure it when the sun is a certain height, what direction is it in, so we can use that. Sometimes the moon rises or sets during the day, so that's another thing we can use. The other thing we'll use during the day is ocean swells. So like at sunrise, we'll really take a good look at where our swells are coming from and get a feeling for what the canoe is going to feel like. It has its own motion in the swells, and then we'll use that to kind of guide us throughout the day. So it's a little more complicated in daytime.
Anytime for one more question?
Sure.
I'm Frank. So about how long does it take you to get from one place to another?
Oh, okay. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
So it looks like If the winds are good, we're probably going to take 2 days to get to Tonga. And then we'll be in the northern island called Vava'u. And we'll be there for maybe 3 days or so. And then it'll be another day and a half maybe to the southern island called Tongatapu. And then that's the hard part after, because then we sail to New Zealand. And that could be, if it's really good weather, it could be 8 or 9 days, or it could be more than that if the weather gets rough. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. But you guys will be following along, so you can tell me.
Okay.
Okay, kids, I think that's all the time we have today for the Hangout. But I would encourage you guys to go. If you have any more questions on hokulea.com, you can ask crew members, including Ms. Bowler, as well as the other crew members on board, any questions that you may have, and they'll answer it for you. Thank you to the teachers in the room as well for coordinating, and thanks for your time.
Wave goodbye to her, okay?
Bye.